Hey there everybody, this is Leo with Remodeling Calculator, and in this video I want to show you how to easily cut cement board like this one, do it fast and without needing any expensive tools. So if you ever cut a cement board, you know that using a razor blade knife is not a good idea, because after a couple of passes the blade will become extremely dull, you won't be able to use it. So let me show you. Here we have this pretty sharp, fairly new blade on this razor knife, and if we try to cut it a few times, it will sure work, will make cuts in it, but after a few passes the blade becomes less sharp and actually dulls out. Now, if you try to cut it with a sawzall like this one, your sawzall blade will become dull extremely fast where you cut it. So each blade will last you maybe for 2 sheets of cement board. After that you have to buy a new blade. So for the purpose of doing this, to make an easy and straight cut, just like this one, you need to use a scoring knife. Like this one. It costs $10 at Home Depot or Lowe's. Here's the package, and you cut with this piece right here. So let me show you how to do it. Here I need a piece that is 30¼ inches wide to install up there on my future limestone tile wall. So I already cut one piece. Now let me show you how to cut another. Let's move everything away. So when you work, I recommend that you work on a surface you're not scared, you're not afraid to scratch or damage. For example, this carpet here will be replacing it, so I don't care if I make any cuts or damages to it. Never do it on your hardwood that you're actually using, because you will damage it and it will be very expensive to fix the damages. So we need a piece that's 30¼ inches. Now, always go about 1/8 of an inch shorter, so you will have an easy time inserting this piece, this board. My width is, so make a notch, just like so, with the blade. Just like that. And I'm using a 4-foot square, and this board is 5 feet long, so my notches are not on the edge, they're more toward the center, but not exactly in the center. They're on the ends, but about 8 inches away from the end on each side. This way I can make a straight line using a straight guide that is shorter than the board. If you don't have a level that's this long, I recommend using a drywall square. It will also do a pretty good job. So make your notches. Done with this. I recommend you wear a glove at least on the hand that you use the knife with, because if you don't wear a glove, you will actually hurt yourself, you will cut your fingers, and you don't want to do it. I'm talking about the skin right here where you hold the knife, because you will need a lot of pressure on this knife and you will need a lot of passes to make a cut. This board is very rigid, very strong, has extremely good dimensional stability, and is rather hard to cut. So once you have your notches, place the level about 1/16 of an inch away from the notch, maybe just a little bit more, but not 1/8. So make sure it's fixed in place, don't let it move, and hold your blade straight up like that, and at a 45-degree angle to the board, and make your first pass. Make sure you don't get away from the guide. Okay, now we're going to do the ends. Just move your guide a little bit, align it the same way, fix it in place, and make your first pass. Now we'll do this side. Don't put your guide directly on the mark. Go about 1/16 of an inch away from it, because the blade is 1/8 of an inch thick, so you stay directly on center of your mark. Alright, so your first mark is done. Now all you do is go back and forth about 20-30 times until you reach halfway down, halfway deep into the board. After that you can still break the board, it's still too strong and too rigid, so you'll have to flip it and do it again on the opposite side. Right. If you get off your first line, do another run with the guide and make it a little deeper this time. So this is what happened to me. I'll show you. Right there you can see I went slightly off the line, so I'm gonna have to redo it. Just make a deeper cut into the board right there in that spot. Again, hold the guide with your foot and your hand so it doesn't shift. Hold the knife straight. Make sure it runs along the guide and make a deeper cut this time. When you get closer to your foot, just be careful not to cut yourself. But move the guide down, align it again, fix it in place. Alright, so we have a deep groove, and now all we do is cut back and forth. So this knife, I already cut with it before and it's still very sharp. Right there. So it will last you a while, and when you're done you can actually break off this little square here, so you'll still have a usable surface on the knife blade. And at this point, since I cut away from my line in this direction, it's better to go in the opposite direction so you don't do it again. When you're cutting, apply pressure to the knife so you get deeper into the board. Right, at this point I think we can actually flip the board over and cut the back side. So again, use your tape measure. And again, use your guide to make a straight line for the first cut. Make sure your groove is deep enough so you can go without the guide. Once you have achieved that, move the guide aside and cut some more. Right, I think we can now break it. Let's try. Yep. So what you do is place your guide over it. And like so you break it. Alright, so this was Leo with the remodeling calculator, and this was my somewhat easy way to cut a cement board. Now keep in mind there really isn't an easy way to cut a 1/2 inch board that's really thick and really strong. Now if you're working with a 1/4 inch, the work is much easier and it happens a lot faster. Alright, thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, and go to remodelingcalculator.org for a lot of DIY guides and to estimate cost of remodeling. See ya!